The year was 2001. The internet was still a relatively new phenomenon, connecting people across the globe in ways never before imagined. Online marketplaces like eBay were gaining popularity, offering a platform to buy and sell unique and intriguing items. It was here, amidst the digital aisles of this virtual antique shop, that an unassuming wine cabinet appeared, listed for a modest price of $140. To the casual observer, it was just another piece of furniture, lost in the sea of forgotten relics. However, this was no ordinary antique. This was a harbinger of terror, a vessel of unimaginable evil, masked behind the veneer of a simple wooden cabinet. The listing itself was unremarkable, with a few grainy images and a sparse description, yet there was an unsettling disclaimer, a single sentence that hinted at a darker truth lurking beneath the surface. Open at your own risk. These words, imbued with an almost palpable sense of foreboding, should have served as a stark warning, a red flag to ward off potential buyers. But curiosity, as it often does, got the better of someone. Someone who, enticed by the allure of the unknown, disregarded the warning and unwittingly invited a malevolent entity into their life. The buyer, whose identity remains shrouded in mystery, clicked the Buy Now button, sealing their fate with a single click. Little did they know that they had just purchased more than just an antique cabinet. They had purchased a nightmare that would soon weave its tendrils into their life, leaving an indelible mark of terror and despair. The cabinet arrived at its new home, an unassuming package delivered to an unsuspecting doorstep. Its wooden exterior, worn smooth by time and countless unseen hands, held no hint of the horrors that lay dormant within. It was an unassuming object, easily mistaken for a family heirloom or a forgotten treasure from a bygone era. Yet beneath its unassuming facade, a darkness festered, waiting for the opportune moment to break free from its confines and unleash chaos upon the world. The origins of the wine cabinet, later to be known as the Dybbuk Box, are shrouded in mystery and steeped in folklore. Whispers and rumours passed down through generations paint a chilling picture of the box's creation and its sinister purpose. Some accounts trace its roots back to pre-war Poland, where it was said to have been owned by a family who met a tragic end. Their demise, shrouded in whispers and speculation, was attributed to the box and the malevolent entity it contained. According to Jewish folklore, a Dybbuk is a restless, often malevolent spirit, believed to be the dislocated soul of a deceased person. Driven by unresolved issues or a desire for revenge, a Dybbuk seeks out a living host, attaching itself to their soul and wreaking havoc in their life. The Dybbuk Box, as legend would have it, served as a prison for such an entity, a vessel crafted to contain its malevolent power and prevent it from tormenting the living. The whispers tell of a rabbi, a man of deep faith and even deeper knowledge of the arcane, who performed a sacred ritual trapping the Dybbuk within the confines of the box. The details of this ritual, shrouded in secrecy and guarded by ancient traditions, remain a mystery to this day. What is known, however, is that the rabbi, fearing the Dybbuk's power and the potential for its escape, bound the box with powerful seals inscribed with Hebrew incantations meant to contain the evil within. For years the box remained hidden, passed down through generations of the family, each caretaker burdened with the knowledge of its true nature and the responsibility for keeping its prisoner contained. However, as time marched on, the memory of the box and its sinister history began to fade, lost in the annals of time and overshadowed by the tumultuous events that unfolded in Europe during the mid-20th century. The whispers surrounding the Dybbuk Box take on a more somber tone as we delve into the horrors of the 20th century. The narrative shifts to Europe in the 1930s, a continent teetering on the brink of chaos and engulfed in the throes of World War II. It was during this time, amidst the unspeakable atrocities of the Holocaust, that the Dybbuk Box's connection to human suffering would be forever etched into its sinister lore. As Nazi Germany's grip on Europe tightened, Jewish communities faced unimaginable persecution. Families were torn apart, their homes and businesses confiscated and their lives systematically destroyed. Among those caught in the web of hatred and violence was a young woman, her name lost to history but her story forever intertwined with the cursed box. Forced from her home and separated from her loved ones, she found herself imprisoned in a concentration camp, stripped of her dignity and subjected to unimaginable cruelty. The horrors she witnessed, the constant fear and despair that permeated every aspect of her existence, left an indelible mark on her soul. It was in this crucible of suffering, amidst the depths of human depravity, that the young woman crossed paths with the Dybbuk Box. Whether she was its previous owner or merely a bystander drawn into its web of darkness remains unclear. What is certain, however, is that the box, a silent witness to the atrocities unfolding around it, became a repository for her pain and suffering. As the young woman withered away, her body broken but her spirit unbroken, she clung to the box, finding solace in its presence as if it were a tangible connection to a life and a world that had been stolen from her. As the young woman's life ebbed away, her tormentors, oblivious to the true nature of the box or the darkness it held, continued their reign of terror. Unaware of the forces at play, they unwittingly set in motion a chain of events that would unleash a malevolent entity upon the world. Weakened by starvation, disease, and the crushing weight of her experiences, the young woman reached a breaking point. On her deathbed, she whispered a final, desperate plea, a prayer for vengeance against those who had wronged her and countless others. This plea, imbued with the raw, unfiltered anguish of a soul pushed to its absolute limit, resonated with the darkness that had taken root within the box, feeding its power and setting the stage for a terrifying transformation. As the young woman breathed her last, her soul, instead of finding peace, was drawn into the box, consumed by the entity that lay dormant within. The Dybbuk, awakened by the influx of pain and rage, merged with the young woman's tormented spirit, creating a being of pure malevolence, fueled by a thirst for vengeance and a deep-seated hatred for humanity. The Nazi guards, oblivious to the supernatural events that had transpired, tossed the box aside, dismissing it as just another possession of a life they had extinguished. Little did they know that they had just unleashed a force far more terrifying than any weapon in their arsenal. The Dybbuk Box, now a vessel for a malevolent entity of unimaginable power, sat silently, patiently waiting for the moment it would be opened, and its captive could once again walk among the living, seeking retribution for the horrors it had witnessed and the soul it had consumed. Word of the cursed box and the horrors that befell its previous owners spread through whispers among the survivors of the camps. A sense of dread and fear surrounded the object. Even those who didn't believe in the supernatural sensed a palpable aura of evil emanating from it. Among the survivors was a rabbi, a man of deep faith who had witnessed firsthand the depths of human cruelty and the toll it took on the human soul. He had heard the stories of the Dybbuk and the box, and he knew that something had to be done to contain the malevolent force that resided within. Seeking to prevent further suffering, the rabbi approached the American soldiers who had liberated the camp, pleading with them to destroy the box. He warned them of the dangers it posed, of the vengeful spirit trapped within, its thirst for revenge insatiable, and its power beyond human comprehension. He urged them to burn it, melt it down, anything to ensure that the Dybbuk could never again torment the living. The soldiers, hardened by war but still possessing a healthy dose of skepticism, listened to the rabbi's pleas with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. They had seen their fair share of horrors, but the idea of a cursed box, a vessel for a malevolent spirit, seemed far-fetched, even to their battle-scarred minds. Torn between their disbelief and the rabbi's desperate pleas, they ultimately decided to err on the side of caution. Unwilling to destroy the box outright, unsure of the consequences of unleashing the Dybbuk into the world, the soldiers agreed to take it with them when they returned to America. They reasoned that perhaps back home, in a land far removed from the horrors of war-torn Europe, they could find someone who could unlock the secrets of the box and safely neutralize the threat it posed. And so, the Dybbuk Box began its transatlantic journey, carefully packed and stowed away aboard a military transport plane, a silent passenger surrounded by soldiers who had no idea of the darkness they were carrying with them. As the plane soared through the skies, leaving behind the ravaged landscapes of Europe, the Dybbuk within the box lay dormant, biding its time, waiting for the opportune moment to break free from its confines and unleash its rage upon an unsuspecting world. The rabbi's warnings, though heeded in part, echoed in the minds of those who had handled the box, a constant reminder of the potential for evil that lay dormant within the unassuming wooden cabinet. Little did they know that despite their best intentions, they had set in motion a chain of events that would lead the Dybbuk Box to resurface in the most unexpected of places, its dark legacy poised to continue in a new land, far from the horrors that had birthed its curse. Years passed, and the Dybbuk Box, once a chilling reminder of the horrors of war, faded into obscurity. It resurfaced in the most innocuous of ways, a forgotten relic listed on eBay, a digital flea market where the past and present collided in a marketplace of forgotten treasures and second-hand bargains. The details of its journey from war-torn Europe to the digital shelves of eBay remain shrouded in mystery, a testament to the unpredictable nature of fate and the unseen hand that often guides our lives. Perhaps it was sold at an estate sale, its true nature unknown to the seller, dismissed as a curious antique with a vague and unsettling history. Or maybe it was passed down through generations, each owner unaware of the darkness they possessed until the burden became too great, and they sought to rid themselves of the cursed object. Whatever the circumstances, the Dybbuk Box found its way back into the world, its sinister purpose lying dormant, awaiting the unwitting soul who would unleash its fury. The eBay listing, like countless others on the site, was unremarkable. A few grainy photos showcased the box's simple design, its wooden exterior worn smooth by time, its true nature hidden beneath a veneer of normalcy. The description, brief and lacking in detail, made no mention of the box's origins or the sinister reputation that preceded it. The seller, perhaps out of ignorance or a misguided attempt to protect potential buyers, offered only a cryptic warning: open at your own risk. To most, these words would have been dismissed as the ramblings of a superstitious mind, a marketing ploy designed to pique the interest of those seeking a thrill or a conversation piece with a spooky backstory. But to one individual, browsing the digital aisles of eBay late one night, these words held a strange allure, a siren call that whispered of hidden truths and forbidden knowledge. His name was Kevin Mannis, an antique dealer with a penchant for the unusual and a fascination with the macabre. He had made a living scouring flea markets, estate sales and online auctions for hidden gems, forgotten relics that held a story waiting to be unearthed.
I had seen my fair share of strange and unsettling objects in my line of work, but there was something about the Dybbuk Box that drew me in, a sense of foreboding mixed with an irresistible curiosity.
Perhaps it was the cryptic warning in the item description, or maybe it was the box's simple yet elegant design that hinted at a history far richer than its outward appearance suggested. Whatever the reason, Kevin found himself placing a bid, his finger hovering over the plus bid button, a mixture of excitement and trepidation coursing through his veins.
In the back of my mind, a voice whispered a warning, urging me to reconsider, to walk away from the unknown danger that awaited me.
But Kevin, driven by a collector's instinct and a thirst for the unknown, ignored the voice of reason. He clicked the button, sealing his fate with a single click of the mouse. The winning bid flashed across the screen, and a surge of adrenaline shot through Kevin's body. He had won the auction, and with it, he had unknowingly invited a malevolent entity into his life, a force that would test the very limits of his sanity and push him to the brink of despair.
The Dybbuk Box arrived a few days later, delivered to my doorstep in an unassuming cardboard box. As I unpacked it, carefully removing the layers of bubble wrap and packing peanuts, a strange sensation washed over me, a feeling of unease that sent a shiver down my spine.
The air around the box seemed to grow colder, and a faint, musty odour like the scent of a long-sealed tomb wafted from within. Despite the unsettling feeling, Kevin couldn't shake the excitement coursing through his veins.
I spent hours examining the box, tracing the intricate carvings, my fingers lingering over the Hebrew inscription.
As days turned into nights, Kevin was plagued by vivid nightmares, each more terrifying than the last.
I woke up in a cold sweat, my heart pounding. The feeling of unseen eyes watching me lingered long after the nightmares faded.
At first, Kevin dismissed these disturbances as his imagination running wild.
I began to experience sudden temperature changes in my home, the air growing heavy and oppressive. Objects moved on their own, and I often felt a cold spot directly behind me, as if someone or something was standing just out of sight.
Kevin, a man of logic, struggled to reconcile these events with his rational mind.
The line between reality and nightmare blurred, and I found myself questioning my sanity.
Most dismissed his concerns, attributing his nightmares and the strange occurrences to stress or lack of sleep.
As the days wore on, my nightmares intensified, and the strange occurrences in my home became more frequent.
The Dybbuk Box, once a source of fascination, had become a source of terror.
I began to feel a constant sense of dread, a feeling that I was in danger.
Kevin realized he was in over his head, caught in a web of supernatural terror. As the sinister events escalated, Kevin Mannis spiraled into fear and despair.
Every creak, every whisper of the wind sent shivers down my spine. The walls of my home felt like a prison.
The Dybbuk Box had become a menacing presence, a constant reminder of the darkness.
Desperate for respite, I sought solace in ancient texts, hoping to find a way to break the curse.
He stumbled upon a ritual, a desperate attempt to contain the Dybbuk and sever the connection.
The ritual involved encasing the box within a sacred space, surrounding it with protective symbols.
The ritual, shrouded in secrecy, was meant to ward off evil. Unable to bear the Dybbuk Box any longer, Kevin decided to part ways with the cursed object.
I debated disclosing the box's true nature, the horrors it held, but fear silenced my better judgment.
The thought of revealing his vulnerability terrified him more than the prospect of the box falling into the wrong hands. With a heavy heart, Kevin listed the Dybbuk Box on eBay, its sinister legacy masked by a vague description. Fate had other plans. The Dybbuk Box found its way to Jason Haxton, a museum curator with a keen interest in the occult.
Intrigued by the box's unusual design, I placed a bid, unaware of the darkness I was inviting into my life.
The Dybbuk Box's sinister journey continued. As Jason delved deeper into the history of the Dybbuk Box, a sense of unease settled upon him.
I ignored the warning bells, driven by a thirst for knowledge and a belief that I could control the forces at play.
He refused to believe that a simple wooden box could hold such power. But as time wore on, Jason began to experience the same unsettling phenomena that had plagued Kevin Mannis.
Determined to rid myself of the cursed object, I tried everything to dispose of the Dybbuk Box.
Each time the box found its way back to him as if tethered by an invisible force.
The Dybbuk Box's grip tightened, its power growing with each passing day.
Word of the Dybbuk Box and its curse spread, attracting the attention of paranormal investigators and religious scholars.
Each new owner, drawn in by curiosity, found themselves caught in the same cycle of terror.
The Dybbuk Box had a life of its own, its power growing with each passing year.
It became a macabre game of hot potato, passed from one unsuspecting individual to the next.
The stories surrounding the Dybbuk Box grew darker, fueled by tragedy and despair.
Reports surfaced of strange illnesses plaguing those who had come into contact with the box.
The Dybbuk Box's reign of terror seemed unbroken, its hunger for suffering insatiable. The Dybbuk Box's path was paved with tragedy, a macabre tapestry woven from shattered lives. Each new owner, initially drawn in by curiosity, soon found themselves ensnared in a web of terror. There was the young couple, newlyweds eager to fill their first home with unique pieces, who purchased the Dybbuk Box at an estate sale. Their initial excitement quickly turned to dread as strange occurrences began to plague their home. The husband, driven to the brink of madness, turned to alcohol to numb the fear that consumed him. Neighbors, alerted by blood-curdling screams, discovered the couple's lifeless bodies inside their home. The Dybbuk Box, silent and menacing, sat undisturbed, a witness to the carnage it had wrought. Then there was the musician, a struggling artist drawn to the Dybbuk Box's aura of mystery. He saw the box as a muse, convinced that its dark energy could fuel his art. His music, once filled with hope, took on a darker tone, reflecting the turmoil within him. His friends, concerned by his erratic behavior, urged him to seek help. But the musician, convinced of his own invincibility, brushed aside their concerns. He became reclusive, isolating himself from the outside world. His waking hours were spent in the company of the box, his sleep haunted by nightmares. The story of the family who crossed paths with the Dybbuk Box is perhaps the most tragic. The Thompson family, a seemingly ordinary family, purchased the box at a flea market.
At first, the box seemed like a curious conversation piece.
But as weeks passed, a palpable shift occurred within the Thompson household. The children became withdrawn, their playful nature replaced by a chilling silence.
They spoke of shadowy figures lurking in the corners of their rooms.
The parents, initially dismissive, soon found themselves experiencing the same unsettling phenomena. Whispers and rumours spread. Tales of those who had dared to possess the Dybbuk Box only to vanish without a trace. There was the antique collector, his home ransacked, the only thing missing the Dybbuk Box itself. Then there was the paranormal investigator, a self-proclaimed demonologist who had sought out the Dybbuk Box. He had documented his experiences in a series of chilling videos, his bravado giving way to fear. His final video showed a visibly shaken man, his voice trembling as he whispered of unseen entities. These disappearances only served to enhance the Dybbuk Box's sinister reputation. The Dybbuk Box had a way of claiming those who dared to possess it, their fates forever intertwined with its dark legacy. The Dybbuk Box, its reputation solidified as a harbinger of misfortune and despair, eventually found its way to a final resting place, a museum of the macabre, a repository for the strange, the unsettling, and the downright terrifying. Nestled amidst rolling hills and shrouded in a perpetual mist, the museum itself seemed to exude an aura of mystery, its very walls whispering tales of forgotten tragedies and restless spirits.
Its curator, a reclusive collector named Elijah Sterling, had spent a lifetime amassing a collection of artifacts with dark and intriguing pasts. Shrunken heads from the Amazon-haunted dolls from Victorian England and ancient relics imbued with unknown powers. Sterling, a man of considerable wealth and even greater eccentricity, saw the Dybbuk Box as the crown jewel of his collection, a testament to the power of the unknown and the enduring allure of the macabre.
The museum, though open to the public, was sparsely visited, its reputation for housing cursed objects and attracting the attention of the supernatural deterring all but the most intrepid of souls. Those who did dare to venture within its hallowed halls often spoke of a palpable sense of unease, a feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes following their every move.
The Dybbuk Box, displayed prominently in a dimly lit room on the museum's top floor, was encased in a glass display case. Its wooden exterior polished to a high sheen, its Hebrew inscriptions barely visible beneath the layers of varnish. A single spotlight illuminated the box from above, casting long, eerie shadows across the room. A small plaque beneath the case provided a brief, sanitized account of the box's history, omitting any mention of the tragedies that had befallen its previous owners.
Despite the museum's best efforts to downplay the Dybbuk Box's sinister reputation, stories of strange occurrences and unexplained phenomena persisted.
Museum staff, sworn to secrecy by Sterling, whispered tales of strange noises emanating from the room where the box was kept. Disembodied voices, footsteps echoing through the empty halls at night, and the unsettling feeling of being touched, of cold breath on the back of their necks.
Cleaning staff, tasked with dusting the artifacts and maintaining the museum's pristine condition, refused to enter the room where the Dybbuk Box was kept without another person present.
They spoke of feeling a sudden chill upon entering the room, of their hands trembling uncontrollably as they cleaned the glass case, and of the overwhelming urge to flee, to escape the oppressive presence that seemed to permeate every inch of the space.
Security guards charged with protecting the museum's valuable collection reported seeing shadows moving in the periphery of their vision, their monitors displaying static interference whenever they focused their cameras on the room where the Dybbuk Box was kept.
Some claimed to have seen the box itself move, its wooden frame trembling slightly, as if something were trying to break free from within.
These stories, though dismissed by Sterling as the product of overactive imaginations and a desire for attention, fueled the museum's reputation as a place of genuine terror, a magnet for paranormal enthusiasts and those seeking a glimpse into the darker side of the human experience. Elijah Sterling, the museum's eccentric curator, had always dismissed the stories of the Dybbuk Box's curse as superstitious nonsense, the ramblings of fearful minds.
He had scoffed at the staff's tales of strange occurrences, attributing them to their own vivid imaginations and the power of suggestion.
He had, after all, spent a lifetime surrounded by objects with dark and disturbing histories, and he had never once felt threatened, never once sensed the presence of any malevolent entity.
However, as time wore on, Sterling found himself experiencing a series of unsettling events that he could no longer explain away.
His once sound sleep was plagued by vivid nightmares, each more terrifying than the last, filled with images of shadowy figures, disembodied voices, and a feeling of overwhelming dread.
He would wake up in a cold sweat, his heart pounding in his chest, the feeling of unseen eyes watching him linger long after the nightmares had faded.
His once sharp mind, known for its encyclopedic knowledge of history and the occult, began to falter.
He found it difficult to concentrate, his thoughts often interrupted by intrusive images and unsettling whispers that seemed to emanate from the depths of his own subconscious.
His once impeccable memory, his ability to recall obscure facts and figures with ease, began to fail him, replaced by a growing sense of confusion and disorientation.
His physical health, too, began to deteriorate. He experienced sudden bouts of dizziness, his vision blurred, his once robust constitution failing him with alarming regularity.
He consulted doctors, underwent a battery of tests, but each examination yielded the same baffling results. There was nothing physically wrong with him.
His ailments, the doctors concluded, were psychosomatic, the product of stress and an overactive imagination.
Today, the Dybbuk Box remains on display in the Museum of the Macabre, its sinister presence a source of both fascination and fear for those who dare to visit. Museum staff, though still bound by Sterling's confidentiality agreement, speak in hushed tones of the box's power, their eyes betraying a flicker of fear as they recount tales of strange occurrences and unexplained phenomena. Visitors to the museum often report feeling a palpable sense of unease when they enter the room where the Dybbuk Box is kept. Some claim to feel a sudden drop in temperature, a chill that seems to emanate from the box itself. Others speak of feeling nauseous, dizzy, or lightheaded, their senses overwhelmed by an unseen force. And still, others claim to have witnessed the box move, its wooden frame trembling slightly, as if something were trying to break free from within. Photographs taken of the box often display strange anomalies, orbs of light, shadowy figures lurking in the background, and faces seemingly peering out from the box's dark interior. The Dybbuk Box, it seems, continues to exert its influence on all who cross its path, its dark legacy a testament to the enduring power of fear and the unknown. Whether a genuine artifact of evil or simply a vessel for our own deepest fears and anxieties, the Dybbuk Box remains an enigma, a chilling reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved, some doors better left unopened. The Dybbuk Box stands as a chilling testament to humanity's enduring fascination with the unknown, the allure of the supernatural, and the unsettling possibility that some forces may exist beyond our comprehension. Its story, a tapestry woven from threads of Jewish folklore, historical tragedy, and unexplained phenomena, continues to captivate and terrify, its legend growing with each retelling, each whisper of a strange occurrence, each shadow that flickers at the edge of our vision. Is the Dybbuk Box a genuine artifact of evil, a vessel for a malevolent entity trapped between worlds, its thirst for vengeance insatiable, its power undeniable? Or is it merely a conduit, a mirror reflecting our deepest fears and anxieties, our fascination with the macabre, our need to believe in something beyond the mundane? The answer, like the box itself, remains shrouded in mystery, a puzzle box with no clear solution. What cannot be denied is the profound impact the Dybbuk Box has had on those who have crossed its path. Lives have been irrevocably altered, sanity stretched to its breaking point, tragedy casting a long shadow over the lives of those who dared to possess it. Whether these events are the result of a genuine supernatural curse or the power of suggestion, the belief in the box's malevolence becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy is a question that continues to be debated. The stories surrounding the Dybbuk Box, passed down through whispers and amplified by the internet's ability to spread information at an unprecedented rate, have taken on a life of their own, blurring the lines between fact and fiction, reality and nightmare. The box has become a cultural phenomenon, its story inspiring countless books, films and television shows, each iteration adding a new layer of intrigue and terror to its already chilling legacy. The Dybbuk Box's power, it seems, lies not just in the object itself, but in the belief it inspires, the fear it evokes, the hold it exerts on the human psyche. It is a testament to the power of suggestion, the way in which our minds can conjure up terrors both real and imagined, blurring the lines between what we perceive and what we believe to be true. The human mind is a powerful instrument capable of great feats of imagination and creativity, but also susceptible to suggestion, fear, and the allure of the unknown. We are drawn to stories of the supernatural, tales of haunted objects and malevolent entities, because they tap into a primal fear, a sense of vulnerability, a reminder that we are not always in control. The Dybbuk Box, with its sinister reputation and its association with tragedy and despair, becomes a focal point for these fears, a tangible representation of the unknown, the unseen forces that may lurk just beyond our perception. Its presence, whether real or imagined, has the power to unsettle, to evoke a sense of dread, to make us question the very nature of reality. The stories surrounding the Dybbuk Box, regardless of their veracity, serve as cautionary tales, reminding us of the fragility of our own sanity, the fine line that separates the rationale from the irrational, the seen from the unseen. They force us to confront our own mortality, our fear of the unknown, and the unsettling possibility that some things may exist beyond our comprehension. Whether or not one believes in the supernatural, the story of the Dybbuk Box serves as a chilling reminder of the power of belief, the enduring allure of the unknown, and the importance of treating the past with respect. It is a story that transcends cultures and generations, tapping into a primal fear of the unseen, a fascination with the macabre, and a yearning to understand the forces that shape our lives. As we move further into the 21st century, a world increasingly driven by technology and scientific advancement, the Dybbuk Box stands as a stark reminder that some mysteries may never be solved, some questions may never be answered. It is a symbol of the enduring power of fear, the fragility of the human psyche, and the unsettling possibility that some doors are best left unopened. The next time you find yourself browsing an online auction, tempted by a unique or antique item with an unknown past, remember the story of the Dybbuk Box. Consider the possibility that some objects may hold more than just monetary value, that some histories are best left undisturbed, and that some mysteries are better left unsolved. The darkness, after all, is always listening, waiting for an invitation to enter our lives, and sometimes even the smallest of cracks can be enough to let it in.